Hiya, welcome to day 10. I'm afraid I'm wearing all the clothes and I'm not going to be removing any of them because it's absolutely flipping freezing. You can see that I'm finally have some space in the living room. Today we're going to be doing some forward folds. I'm going to explore a couple of standing forward folds, and then we're going to explore a couple of sitting ones. The thing that's nice about forward folds is that I find them just, the standing ones are brilliant for your back. If you've been, like I have, sat at a laptop all day, you've been working, you've been carrying stuff, you've been really busy, it really eases the tension in your back. And apparently having your head upside down is really good for you. It's good for bringing blood back to your brain, oxygenating your brain and giving you some energy. So all I would say is if you know that you are prone to dizziness or anything, then just take it gently. So maybe rather than having your head right upside down, maybe just explore a little bit with how it feels. So we'll need to change the position of the camera part way through. Okay, so when we talk about we've got a full forward fold and a half forward fold, and I'm going to come to the side so that you can see. So as ever, we try standing in mountain, and let's just give ourselves a moment. Engaging everything, breathing. It always takes a minute to get into the room, get into the fact that we're here and we're doing some yoga. So when I show you a forward fold, you'll remember, because I talk about it all the time, I've got really short hamstrings, so I always have to have a good bend in my knees. Doesn't matter how much your knees are bent, your knees can be completely straight or your knees can be completely bent. The important thing is that we're working to bring our head towards our shins, so that's what matters. Don't worry about what your legs are doing. You can start with your legs together, or if you feel a bit more stable, have a bit of distance. And I'm going to start with a good stretch just because it's quite a good way to go into it. We often do extended mountain and then we come forward into forward fold. And I'm going to come down slowly. And I'm thinking about letting my head and my neck relax. Bringing my tummy towards my thighs and my head down. Now I am going to have to take this off because you can't see anything that I'm doing when I'm wearing this. Because when we are there, we can, just checking you can see me, we can just hang, we can sway. I really like swaying my shoulders from side to side. We can clasp opposite elbows and sway. We can hold on to our toes and bring our head right down. And just feeling that rush of blood to the head. So, as you can imagine, we come up nice and slowly, especially if you're not used to doing these. So that's a basic forward fold. And if you were doing a yoga class, we do what's called vinyasas, which is where we move fast from one pose to the other, and quite often that's part of a vinyasa. So now I'm going to show you a half forward fold. Now again, this is going to be different for everybody. Some people can do this with their feet on, their hands on the floor. Some people have got their hands up here. It doesn't really matter. But what we're looking for, and I know from experience, I need to have a little bend in my knees. I'm going to lean forward and I'm going to put my hands on my knees. Now can you see what I'm looking for is a flat back. I'm looking at pulling my shoulders away from my ears, putting the crown of my head forward. I'm trying to get that nice straight line. You're not going to keep turning like I am, but I'm just wanting to make sure you can see. And when we're in that half forward fold, I can really feel it in my thighs. I can feel my shoulders stretching. So what we quite often do is we go half forward fold to forward fold, and then back again. And what I've done over the years and doing yoga training is that I've actually gone and watched myself doing that in a mirror so that I can tell where I need to have my legs so that my back is nice and flat. So, a couple of sitting ones. Bear with me a moment. Okay. So, we're going to do a couple of seated forward folds now. Just making sure I get into a good position. Now, my favourite seated forward fold is just with legs crossed, and as ever we can have a cushion under our hips if that helps, and we always start with kind of lifting our chest, and the reason that we do that is that it tends to mean that we're folding from the hips rather than just hunching forwards. So from this position I'm just going to start to walk my hands forward. You might come to there, that's enough. You might feel that you can come further forward. You might feel that you can start to bring your head down. You don't have to stretch your arms out, but I find that gives me a nice stretch in the shoulders as well. And I'm going to breathe. Let's take 3 breaths here. Slowly walk back up. We always do things on both sides. One thing to mention is if you fold forward so far that your buttocks are coming off the floor, then you're doing it too far. Try and keep your sitting bones grounded into the floor. So I'm going to sit up and I'm going to walk forwards. Back up. Now, as I say, these poses are part of sequences that you can do, but we're just exploring these by themselves to see how they feel. Now, yesterday we looked at doing a forward fold with a strap when we're seated. I'll just move that way a little bit so you can see better, because if you've got tight hamstrings, then it's just, you're not going to get anywhere. But actually something that somebody taught me as a good way of kind of getting into the feel of doing these seated forward folds is to actually bend your knees, and then we think about lifting up, bringing your chest towards your knees, stretching your arms out. You can bring your head down, and then what you can do is you can experiment over time with how much more space have I got. Maybe I can take my feet out a little bit more, maybe I can lean in a little bit, and you should still feel that really good stretch up the back of your thighs. And let's take 3 breaths here. And then we always come up slowly from a forward fold. So that's day 10, forward folds. Have a go, have an explore, see what you think, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye, namaste.